of putting content out. So the purpose of Netgear, for one, is to help the end user get their job done. So I think we're just scratching the surface on this stuff. And the big thing is this: do not be afraid of anything.
This episode is sponsored in part by PTZ Optics. Why hire a camera operator when the control is in your hands? Visit ptzoptics.com for more information. And by NewTek, makers of the TriCaster TC1. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtek.com for more information.
Hey guys, it's Friday, so it's time for the Retro Buzz, and we've got a pretty decent show, I think, for you today. But I do want to clear the air a little bit. I did a social experiment this week on Facebook to see how many people actually read the whole post or if they read just a few lines. And if some of you noticed, the post kind of went like a lot of you guys responded, and I appreciate that. But a lot of you guys were under the impression that we were having another kid. But if you read down through the post, we're all expecting a jolly fat man coming up here in about a little over 8 weeks. So, Doug, I think I officially fooled everybody.
Did you though? Did you really? Or did you just find out how many people don't read your posts?
That's true. I found out how many people actually don't read all the posts. That's a good point.
Yeah.
We got Douglas Smith here in the house.
Yeah. Pleasure to be here. And second of all, it's probably not nice to talk about your relatives in descriptive terms like jolly old fat man. Typically, they like to be referred to by their name or their title, such as uncle, grandpa, things like that.
Well, yeah, if you read the post, if you didn't, you can go back and check it out. We also have with us, and I did it out of order this week on purpose. We have Mr. Glenn.
It's going to cost you, though.
I know.
It's going to cost you.
I know.
Obligations.
It's in the contract, but you know what? I figured I'm going to do something a little different. You're still in the middle.
I am. You got to switch it up once in a while. I get it. You got to do it.
Keep everybody on their toes. No, actually, it's just been a really busy week. I think all of us can say we've had a extremely busy week. It's only going to get busier as we go forward here. So,
'tis the season.
Oh, real quick, I have to really thank State Farm for not being a good neighbor. Thank you for not being a good neighbor, State Farm. You suck. That's it.
Well, in reality,
do you want to expand on that?
Yeah,
I do. Apparently, State Farm, who had the flood down here, and we called State Farm, and they said you have $20,000 of coverage for flood and mold, so you're covered. We bring a company in, a very good company, Air Care Environmental with Mary, did a fantastic job. It was even more. It was a lot more money than that. But regardless, State Farm goes, yeah, no, we're not paying it. Like, what do you mean you're not paying it? The reason I brought them in was you guys said you were covering it. Oh, no, not covering it. So I'm going to see what I could do at this point. But right now, you can see my basement now. I'm virtual now. I can't have a real basement. I have to have a virtual basement. I'm on the grid now. So State Farm, you suck. Thank you.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh, yeah. You wanted to keep it PG-13, I thought.
Well, speaking of which, we do have joining us again. I don't know how you're doing it. You're funding her. She keeps coming back. We've got Retro Babe in the house.
Yep. This is version 1.3. Did a little firmware upgrade. Her eyes should be working a little bit better this week, we hope.
I'm just less stressed.
Wow. I don't know, Glenn. I don't know how you keep doing it. I know her fans have been waiting for her to come back.
Yeah, I think they like her more than us.
I think you're right.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
It's a low bar.
Yeah.
We wanted to come on here and have a good time with you guys. It's Friday night. Talk some games. There's a lot of stuff. There is a lot of stuff, believe it or not, to talk about. But before we get into this, Glenn, why don't you kick us off? I know I'm probably throwing a little wrench in this. Why don't you kick us off with what is happening I guess this weekend you're attending a certain place,
Yeah,
right?
you know what? I'm actually really excited because Doug, was at E3 and CS and all these things out west, and I've been trying to go to ones over here, and COVID either hit or the work job happened, I couldn't get to it. But this Saturday and Sunday in Hartford, Connecticut, is the Retro World Expo, and I'm going to be there. Believe it or not. So if you're going to this, I'm a ham. Come right up to me, and I'll talk to you. You'll be running for me. But a lot of other big YouTubers are here. We have, Pixel Dan's going to be here, the gaming historian, Pat the NES Punk, Metal Jesus Rocks. There's going to be a lot of big people here. So I'm going to be stalking all these guys to try and get them, to get them on the show, of course.
You're not
I
supposed
think
to
only
tell
two.
people ahead of time.
Yeah.
You're going to be stalking them. It makes it a
Well, I
little more
think only
difficult.
two have restraining orders on me right now. So I think
Okay.
the rest I can kind of go after. But it looks like it's going to be a really good show. It is Saturday and Sunday from 10, I think, to 7 both days. I'm only doing Saturday. But
You're going to have to cram it all in one day, Glenn. It's going to be difficult.
Well,
it's me.
Glenn's going to be stalking Destiny FOMO. I can tell you that right now. That's where he's going to be at. We know he's not going to, Doug, he's not going to go after Tatanka. That would be really good for us, but
yeah.
But it looks like it's a really good show. There's, Metal Jesus. I've been talking to him for a while. Hopefully I can get him, on the show. Good bunch of people there. Also, a couple of retro game magazines are going to be there. I'm going to see if I can get them, on the show as well, and just see what's out there. There's a lot of talks going on there. I know the gaming historians are going to do a talk on the history of Donkey Kong. Well, I could probably school them a little bit on that one, just not in gameplay. But it looks like that'll be a fun thing to do on this Saturday. So if you guys are anywhere near the Hartford, Connecticut area, tickets are still available. Come out, and then please come up and say hello.
So question.
Now, Glenn, are you going to be out there looking to buy anything in the retro space?
Well, that's going to be the hard part, because right now I'm already $30,000 in the hole for this basement. So maybe, but I got to be
the American way to go in excessive debt, buy things you can't afford, and just throw them on credit cards. So if you're not doing that, Glenn, you're not being a true American.
I know. So I'm saying that, but when I go there, when I see something, I might bite. And Cole's coming with me, so Cole will be there.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, are you dragging Cole? Is he actually going to go?
That was the key word you just said right there.
Dragging.
Yes, he's going, he's being tooth and nail dragged to the show. Goes, Dad, what kind of show is this? So it's a retro game show. Oh, so old stuff? I'm like, yeah, but there'll probably be some Fortnite stuff there, and I'm sure there's Minecraft stuff. I have no idea. I'm sure there's Minecraft stuff there and Fortnite. Of course, it's gaming. But if there's not, I am going to have 2 hours out and back of hearing how there was not. So let's hope that he doesn't like himself. And Jen, hopefully she'll enjoy it, because she likes playing some games, but this is a first time for her. And we'll have Retro Babe on the cell phone, so we'll see if she'll enjoy it as well. But I'm just happy to want to have a good time. I just want to have a. Yeah, you think you'll have a good time, Retro Babe, or no?
Yeah, we'll have fun. Forget about Jen.
Well, you gotta
Nice.
be able to get them there with driving the car.
Well, that's the beautiful thing. My car does it all on its own, so I can just kick back and relax on my car driving.
You're gonna sit there and say your car drives it on its own when Retro Babe is sitting right here and it's self-driving
I drive
because of
it.
her.
She's the one who's driving it.
I'm the one driving.
She's the AI. She's the AI that drives the car.
Glenn, when are you gonna learn? Oh boy. Anyways,
She's like, well, look, think about Knight Rider and Kit. Did Kit drive the car? Yes, he did. I rest my case.
As long as he pays his
Yeah,
bill,
because-
I'll drive nice.
Hasselhoff was sitting there playing Atari 2600.
pretty
Yes,
much.
he
wasn't even
was.
watching the road.
Yes,
Pretty
yes,
much.
he was.
Well, so that's coming up tomorrow, and you're only going Saturday, right? You couldn't drag it out till Sunday.
Yeah, Saturday. It was a little too much. It was it wasn't too bad. It was $30, a ticket for the Saturday, but it was like $90 for both days. And then when you go there, they have talks, and you got to pay to go into those. So I didn't want to go too crazy with both days. And
Wait, you get charged extra for a panel?
I'm pretty sure you do. Yeah.
Wow, that's different. I
Ah.
didn't think you got charged for a
I'm
panel.
not familiar with that. Normally, everything is bundled up in your admission fee, unless it's something super secret where they like give you something.
Are you
Well, I'm
sure?
gonna
Are you
raise my
sure?
hand.
Wait, are you
Hopefully,
sure?
they'll put me out of the audience. I'll join the panel. So I'll tell them what the
Well, I was gonna
backstory
say, are you
is.
sure P-Dub's not gonna be
Bobby
there? That's why you're
Broadway
getting
said you should
charged
do a
for it.
video of the car.
I'm just wondering.
What was that, Retro Babe?
Bobby Broadway said you should do a video on the car.
Well, that's a plan. That
The
is a
self-driving
plan.
part.
It is. That'll be the expanded thing. I want to see how far I can go before I get into an accident, and then that's why I do the video.
Oh, and then there won't be Jen anymore.
Oh, well, she might like that. Retro
point.
Babe might want to take over.
Hmm.
I don't know. She still eyes up Doug, man.
She does. She does.
I don't
You
know.
fixed those, Glenn. I thought you fixed those. That was
That's the
supposed to be
thing,
the
I
firmware
did.
update.
I did, and yet you're still doing it. So that's a problem.
I don't know.
Is it?
Although
is
we
it
all
though?
kind of do it with Doug.
I think Hollywood Polo in the chat room. He's got some eyes for Retro Babe too. So I don't know. You better watch out there, Retro Babe.
Oh, I'm watching.
All right, Doug, get us into what's going on here in Arcade 1-Up world. What do we got going on coming up, man?
All right. So the start of the week, we had the Arcade 1-Up Terminator 2 light gun cabinet go up for pre-orders, $700. Didn't go up to as many retailers as it normally does, so you can infer information about that however you wish or please. But you just get one game. It's a cool game, but it's also a game that you can beat in 30 minutes, and it's also one of those light gun games where you don't have to actually individually pull the trigger. You can only just hold the trigger down, which like considerably takes away a lot of the fun factor for me on this one. The guns do have some sort of solenoid type of feedback. Obviously, nobody knows how good or bad that is because no one's got to experience this. So
Wait,
people
do you
are
have to use
really
your cell phone, Doug? Do you connect
No,
your cell
no,
phone to it and use that
no.
force feedback?
no cell phone screen or connectivity. The quote unquote additional game on this is like behind the scenes footage of Terminator 2, which I mean, if it's the year 2001 and you've never seen a DVD before, I guess that's appealing. But I know they were like trying to throw something extra in there to add value to it, but like I'm struggling to think of a time where somebody would like, hey, you want to watch this behind the scenes documentary with James Cameron, voiceover on my arcade cabinet on a 17-inch screen? I can't imagine there's a whole heck of a lot of people raising their hand on this, but I mean, the cabinet does look good. I'll give them that design aesthetic.
It does.
I know some people are amiss and upset that the guns come off and they aren't stationary like the actual arcade was, but if you're not familiar with how Sinden technology works, there's no way in hell it would work if it was that close to the screen and stuck on a pedestal. So be happy they made that change. Otherwise, it wouldn't work at all. $700 though.
That's huge.
That's a pricey cabinet. Like I said,
but
retail,
I have to say, Doug, I'd say at least they're making the cabinets look a little more the part. So that's kind of what Arcade Rub has to do. So I do like the aesthetic. And again, it is expensive, but it's definitely cheaper than buying the real thing. And if you want to walk into your room and you love that machine, if that's something you grew up on, someone will spend that money.
Yeah, you can't put a price on nostalgia for certain people.
No.
My only concern on this one, this was one I kind of had with Big Buck Hunter when I kind of figured out how things work on that machine, is the guns, the longevity of the guns, especially now that you're introducing feedback.
Right.
Something breaks on that, you're 100% solely dependent on getting replacement parts through Arcade 1-Up, because even though they're using Sinden technology, like we found out with the Big Buck Hunter cabinet, it's not plug and play. You can't just, my Arcade 1-Up, Terminator 2 gun died on me, I'll just plug in the Sinden one I bought offline. Doesn't work that way, and vice versa. You can't unplug your Terminator 2 gun, plug it into your PC, and magically play, light gun games that way.
Which is a shame. That would be a good, for paying that kind of money.
Value
it would be a good.
it would.
Well,
100%. Like, you could start to justify that price a little more if you had that type of option, because the Sinden light guns themselves are basically $150 a pop.
Right, exactly.
So if you get two guns, there's $300 worth of value right there. But obviously, for I'm sure legal reasons, that was probably part of the agreement that certain things like that weren't allowed, because that obviously kind of cut into Sinden's sales, I'm sure.
But we need these replacement parts, Doug, because like you said, I baby my Buck Hunter guns because of this very thing. I don't want something to happen to these guns. And so, I mean, I already have a problem at the church with the Rampage cabinet. All of a sudden, all the games will not play. It
Bring a
boots into
fighting
it.
cabinet
No, wait,
to
hang
church. Is that
no,
what
no,
you're telling
no,
me?
Rampage. So when
That's a fighting game.
it's
Rampage.
a
You're destroying
no, the
buildings.
kids love it. The only
the Pac-Man
game that
Kids
works,
love
the only game that works is Gauntlet. All the other games, you go into it and it kicks you out. So I went to Arcade One Up and I was like, "Hey, it says that you have them, but then it says it's so like sign up to get notified."
Yeah.
Like,
Notify me when the parts become available.
where are the parts? Like, and it's been like this for months, and you can't tell me they don't have a stash of PCBs laying around because these early ones are breaking left and right. That's my
Actually, I have
concern
to
with the
say-
guns. Like, you spend, Glenn, you're going to pay $700, and then it's just going to sit if a light gun is faulty.
Well, that's the thing, and that's where the modding community has to come in. I'm sure, like someone like Berry Sneaky or someone's going to have a little hack board that'll modify it. But you have a very valid point. I have to defend Arcade One Up in one simple way because I'm still having the same problem myself. It's just getting the stuff here.
Yeah.
I was talking to my guys again in China. I'm like, where's the stuff? Micro Center is supposed to have the version 3 trackball and the steering wheel for a few months now. We're still sitting on these boats and we can't get them in. So I'm sure, even though Arcade One Up has more money to throw around and Atgames has money to throw around, there's still a huge supply issue in getting stuff here. So trust me, they would love to sell you more parts. I mean, it's like when you buy the Xbox, it's all the accessories. That's where they make the money, not in the Xbox. Although I'm sure Arcade One is making money on the machines, but they want to make that extra income coming in, so they don't want to not have these stuff here for you guys to buy parts. Because even people like me or other third-party companies who make stuff that you could use, we can't get stuff either. So it's just a no-win situation all around. And I'm kind of worried about this being the holiday season. If people start wanting to buy these machines and they do buy them and they have a problem, it's not going to make very good Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa if they can't have a machine that's working when the holiday gets here.
Well, speaking of holidays, like you mentioned with the, obviously everybody knows about it at this juncture. If you don't, you obviously never turned on a television, watch the news anytime in the last 3 months. But the shipping fiasco where everything's literally just sitting out there floating on the water, it's just waiting in line trying to get in.
Right.
Terminator 2 pre-order specifically, it says, hey, you'll get this after Christmas. You're going to get this, 2022. This is not something that's going to be able to make it shoreline for everybody. So even if you were that nostalgic fan that it was ready to throw down that $700 and you had some sort of expectation that this was going to be your Christmas gift or, some cool thing you get to unwrap with the kids at Christmas morning, not happening. In fact, anything you're buying this holiday season, if it's not literally right in front of you, I would literally go in with zero expectations that it does arrive anytime by Christmas.
You know what they should do, Doug? Like the good old Kenner days. You get a little piece of cardboard.
The IOU?
Your T2 is coming. In a few months, you put it down.
Just a little picture of Arnold says, I'll be back shortly.
We did get we got a super chat in here. Let's pull this up here. It's about from Console Fanboy about I'm actually getting into pinball bit. Who knew? Did anyone go to the Pinball Expo? No, I didn't go to the Pinball Expo.
No.
Nope.
No. One more time.
Wanted to,
no.
but just didn't. I had other stuff. I had my trip to AEW on Wednesday planned and paid for, so I wasn't about to drive up to Chicago and spend a bunch of money doing that all over again.
Your wife would have shot you.
Exactly.
All right, what do we got next on the Arcade One Up docket?
It's something that everybody has asked for, and they've just been on pins and needles saying, where, when, how can I get more Pac-Man?
Oh, no. Are you serious?
But yeah, it's Pac-Man. I mean, you kind of had to know this was coming, but they've put together a little holiday themed bundle, and this is mainly due to the fact that, guess what? Both of these are already stateside, so they can just package them together. But they're going to be able to sell you a Legacy Bandai Namco 12-in-1 cabinet, as well as the Arcade 1-Up Junior Pac-Man cabinet for the price of $599.
OMG.
Wow.
Yeah. Obviously, they got the kind of inflated MSRP fake markdown that kind of like Home Shopping Network and QVC does right there.
Look, it's value.
But But if for whatever reason you've somehow missed every single Pac-Man cabinet that they've thrown your way, and you want a Pac-Man cabinet, and you also have a mini-me that wants a Pac-Man cabinet, this is perfect for you because it actually is a quasi-decent value. But that is a very, very narrow field customer that at this point, like I said, hasn't already dipped their toes into the arcade one-up Pac-Man world.
Did you get the stool
Does
too?
it have a bench?
Yeah, that's what I was
The
wondering.
kids one does.
No. See, read the fine print. Stool not included.
It just popped up. That's
Yeah, they get you with that.
I was thinking that
You're
retro
right.
babe. I was going there. I was thinking, man, if you get the stool with it too, that might not be a bad deal for somebody that doesn't have Pac-Man.
So I still think Arcade One Up has to make a Neo Geo, like MVS, that actually takes little cartridges that they can sell to add games to it. Because man, that's crazy. It was. I mean, I guess technically it's a good idea. You know, if you're like me, you don't want a baby like touching your machine.
Yeah.
With little jelly fingers
buy
and
them their
peanut
own
butter
machine?
fingers.
But that's what
Right.
the countercades are for. I literally put my countercades upstairs in the playroom so that the little kids play that instead of playing these machines down here.
But you know, even if you got these two, you know that the little kid is not going to play his. He's going to go to dad's machine.
Well,
Because that's what they do.
exactly.
He's going to try.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't include the stool, because the little kid would stand on that stool and try to play the machine. They said, no, keep your grubby little, chocolate
you're
covered
thinking-
fingers off the arcade.
Yep.
Oh, I'm having convulsions just thinking about the peanut butter jelly hands, like all over everything. And I come home like, oh my god!
Yeah, but with you, it's keeping the water off of the arcade.
Oh, yes, I'll go so low.
That's why it's all plastic. It floats.
Oh, there you go, Glenn. You could get those
I
arcade
said
one ups.
that is the one thing I said that was really cool about those. That if you spill a drink or something like that, but then again, for floods, maybe arcade one ups should come up the whole line for people like me who apparently live in
And even
Yeah,
that
it's an
size,
untapped market
insurance
for sure.
company zones.
It can-
where they don't
Aquatic
take care of the
arcades.
customers.
Yeah.
it can even be that
Untapped market
size.
for sure.
Doug and I couldn't use it. We're too tall, but you could use it.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I want to
again.
see how
The
far I
old man
can
height.
punt it.
Yeah.
Just like Charlie Brown it. Like if you get so angry at the game, you're just like, rage quit instead of throwing the controller down. Like I'm pretty sure I could kick that 25 yards.
Yeah, I was only kidding about the flood thing, guys. Don't chew me up. He knows I'm
No,
messing with
But I
him.
know what I was thinking though. I was thinking that in the future, because what the problem I have here, if I do bring things down here, bags go on top, big tubs be on the bottom.
Yeah, no, that's
I
smart.
thought it was a nut job before. Now you're gonna really see how it goes.
Bag it and tub it.
I still want to know what happened to the Glenn's Retro Show plastic, rain bags, jackets. Remember those things we saw?
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't send anything
That
in
should be a
after
real
you-
thing. I mean, bring that.
They're
That's gotta
sitting in
come
that
out.
cargo container.
Yeah.
Just off the floor.
So rainwater in the chat room. I'm trying to pull it up here. The chat's going.
Well, Barry Brothers, I agree with him. You don't want your little kids touching your,
Right.
your stuff. You don't.
Rainwater's like, fun fact, I don't own any of the Pac-Mans. That's
And now's your chance.
How'd you
Yeah.
avoid it?
Yeah, I mean,
How did you avoid it?
He's like Neo on the Matrix, just dodging arcade one-up Pac-Man,
Yeah.
just, left and right.
Maybe that's
Yes.
the AI that's going to take over.
Could be.
Could be.
Pac-Man will take over one day.
Mhm.
Actually, I don't. I do not live in a. Not only do I not live in a flood zone, I live on top of a hill, and the people at the bottom of the hill didn't get flooded. So go figure that one out. I have a poltergeist.
yeah.
Could
So
be. Could be.
Yes.
so it was funny because we weren't sure even tonight if we were going to be able to do a show because I had some issues. Like I'm picking on Glenn here, but I'm going to try to redeem myself here. Okay. I got a show.
You
so,
made fun of me too. How long it took me? Mention that you made fun of me.
So I had I had stated to these guys. I said a buddy of mine's coming over. We have to put in a new dishwasher because I have a home warranty. Long story short, nobody can come out till the first of the year. Thanksgiving's coming, Christmas is coming. I'm not going to make my wife wash dishes. We're not going to wash the dishes. I know that's kind of lame, but
Paper plates.
paper plates is what I thought about. So I went to the dentist for my checkup. I came back. This is what I came back to.
Oh.
Oops.
So all over the front.
or the child who peed.
Well, no. So that was from the dishwasher. Okay. So I was kind of like, crap. So I went out and bought a new dishwasher. like a good husband would. And I said to my buddy, I said, hey, because I'd never put one in. I said, can you come over and give me a hand? He's like, yeah, I'll come over. So the only day he could do it was today. So he got here about 4:45. And so Glenn and I are chatting in the little room there. And I said, oh, he says it'll only take about an hour. And Glenn goes, what? Usually takes me all day. Well, maybe 6 hours. He goes, I'm like, to change 2 pipes and power to it?
Well, yeah, of course it takes that. You got to do it meticulously. You got to take your time. And you only use a toothpick. That's the only tool you need.
Got electrocuted.
Yeah.
There's an arc. You could see the arc.
This is the second time I heard about a son. What is going on here?
She's giving it to you, man. So that's what happened there. And then some of the other shows I've been doing, like Broadcast Now, we took a little hiatus from that temporarily because I was going out hunting. I did get a deer.
Congrats!
Thank
I
you.
expect some deer jerky in the mail pronto.
I'll get right on
Jerky?
that. So
Jerky.
I decided that you guys remember my son. He used to come on the show. I decided, okay, instead of me spending time trying to get a buck or something else, because I'm cool. I've shot many of them. I'm like, I'm going to take him hunting. I'm going to have him out in the blind. This is how he hunts. Now, mind you, this is 6 o'clock at night.
You guys get up. Okay.
This is 6 o'clock at night.
Oh, never mind. He has no excuses.
So
I was thinking maybe you got him up at like 2 a.m. and
No,
maybe 6 a.m. 4 hours of being out in the woods.
This was and so here's the worst part. I'll go back to this. It was cold. That we had this cold snap. It was in the 20s. So I have one of these propane buddy heaters. You can see the glow coming off them. This thing was so warm you could have sat in there with shorts on. So
wow.
He's sitting there, and all of a sudden I was, I'm watching and I'm checking my phone. I'm checking my phone. All of a sudden he's there, passed out. And I was texting my buddy, and he's like, "Yeah, I think you got it too warm in there." He goes, "So
was he snoring, scaring off the deer?"
Oh, he was cutting logs, man. So he was long gone. But so that's what's been going on here, guys. I know we just kind of diverted a little bit off of this, but I wanted to kind of put that out to everyone because when we came back from all this, Doug, I heard some news about Atgames, and I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit here. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I am kind of too. They put out a press release earlier in the week, basically stating that they're going to be attending a expose, so to speak, not an expose, exposition, sure, whatever, a convention of sorts for commercial arcades and coin-operated machines, things like that. But basically, they're revealing to the world that they're going to be releasing a commercial grade or a commercial version of their Atgames pinball machine. So that's completely kind of something I never foresaw being announced in the pipeline, anything like that, because it's Arcade 1-Up. None of these other home arcade type of companies have tried to put their foot into the commercial space. They're all home use only. Just, hey, here's a toned down version of a commercial grade arcade machine of some sort. So basically what Atgames is kind of flipping the script and saying, okay, we've got a digital pinball machine that everyone seems to like. Let's see if we can tweak it a little bit and get it into the commercial space. So barcades, malls, other places that you would normally find a coin operated machine, Dave & Buster's, all that type of thing. I guess they're going to try to, do their dog and pony sales pitch and get some of those people to bite and see if they can get these into commercial settings.
Do you guys
Well, they're
think
definitely going to have to add some bells and whistles to their current cabinet to survive in that workspace. I'm still shocked that Arcade 1-Up, and I applaud them for being in the Dolphin Stadium, but these machines were never designed for that kind of constant play from people. So
well, that's what I wanted to ask you
very
guys. Do you think this is a direct response to Arcade 1-Up coming out stating that they're going to have a lounge with the NFL, well, specifically with the Miami Dolphins, that this is kind of like a counter, like, hey, we're also going to do it. Don't forget about us. Hello.
Well, remember, all of our lives is just like Pong. Arcade 1-Up, Atgames, Dolphins,
boop,
commercial
boop,
machine.
Boop.
But my thing, and maybe Doug, you could shed some light on this. Like immediately when I read this, I thought, okay, yeah, this might be cool. It gets Atgames' name out there, but how do you put like a coin door on particle board and not have it ripped off by some kid who's feeling overzealous?
Yeah.
Or put a credit card slider on it? I mean, you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, I was left with more questions than answers because, like I said, this is a short little news press
Of
release
course.
type of thing. We didn't get any pictures or information about the actual machine. Just where my head immediately goes is, okay, you have to upgrade some certain things to get them to equate to a commercial environment. Like I said, you got to have some sort of currency acceptor, whether it be coins or card swipe, something like that. While they do have a faux coin door on the front of it there, it's not the standard size of a normal arcade style or a pinball style coin acceptor, so that wouldn't fit. You would have to basically come up with your own version. Do the card swipe, okay, that's fine, but yet again, you have to custom, fit something on there to work. And then, I mean, just like the digital pinball aspect, like I enjoy digital pinball, but you will not find a whole lot of people that really enjoy physical pinball that also enjoy digital pinball. Typically, it's one or the other. And if you're setting this thing in an atmosphere where it's next to a bunch of $6,000 pinball machines and $2,500 arcade machines, it's going to stand out like a sore thumb, and not for the right reasons. You'll get some inquisitive people, and it's not a knock on the product, but I mean, it's not meant to be that. So
Right.
it's never fair to compare apples to oranges, but when you stack them next to each other, that's what's going to happen. People are going to go,
This guy
What
won
is
the
this?
internet right here.
Yep.
oh,
Yep. Better turn off them firmware updates. But
yeah.
since this entire thing started, we've talked about this. A lot of people going, talking bad about Arcade One Up because it's not a real machine. It's not a real machine. It never was meant to be. Now they're putting them in an area where they're going to try and treat it as such. And I love Arcade One Up. I like the company. I like the people who work there. But those machines are not designed for that. I hope there's less. Maybe that's where the spare parts are. Maybe those spare parts
Especially
are
drunken
there.
football fans that have yet to win a football game. I mean, I could be wrong with that.
Right.
Maybe the Dolphins have won one this year, but like those people are
Right.
looking to beat on
It's-
something by halftime.
It's great PR, though. I mean, it's great
Oh,
PR.
absolutely. Yeah.
And it is. But I'm dying to see if they have a surplus of parts or machines in the back they swap out every day because beer got spilt all over them. And the same thing with Atgames. Now, we haven't seen it all what Atgames is going to do. Arcade One Up used their stock, as far as we could tell, machines at the Dolphin Stadium. We don't know if Atgames is really going to make it so different. It's really not the same unit as the home. Maybe we're on the same board and the same screen, but it could be a commercial grade cabinet as far as we know. We really have no idea
Correct.
yet. But if it's the standard cabinet they have now, that one connector inside, I know that P-Dubs had a ton of problem with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
on the
anybody that
backlash,
messes with it. Yeah.
Right. So now they're going into an area where we're going to have to raise the bar and how we feel about their product. Because if they're not going to start putting these in a commercial field, we're going to maybe want higher standards for when it comes for the home. Maybe it's not going to be okay now to have a machine with really thin cardboard parts or screws that aren't great. Or when I get it delivered, it's scratched. I'm going to start wanting to see what I get from you guys in a commercial area. So they can think about that.
Yeah, I think
like,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, competition, always breeds innovation from other people, and people have been demanding, or at least requesting, from Arcade One Up since their inception. It's like, hey, why don't you guys make full-size arcade cabinets? Maybe this is something that forces their hand to say, okay, maybe we do have to start making our version of a commercial arcade cabinet because other competitors are doing similar things like that. Because
another thing, Doug.
Go ahead.
I mean, another thing to think about here is, what about the licensing? That's one of the things that they're always talking about.
Yeah.
These were licensed for the home.
Oh, absolutely.
And now they're going into public areas. So how does that work?
That's one call out I did notice in this little PR, blurb, that they did say that they were going to have the, licensed versions of this for operators. So they've at least, thought and planned and got that lined out, obviously, because they talk about having 140 something games preloaded on this machine. But yeah, you specifically have to have a completely different license if you're going to be doing commercial type of activities. One questionable thing I saw in that little PR news blurb, they also talked about like their own form of currency. I guess I could describe it like that, just for the lack of better terms. And that immediately just throws up so many like red flags to me, because like not so much from like non-authentic type of things or scam or anything. It's just like, for simplicity, you want to make these things as stupid simple to operate as humanly possible. So one thing I do enjoy is the Atgames presence of their pinball machine. One thing I don't really enjoy is their user interface. I think it's clunky. And if you get people that are not familiar, not tech savvy, paying money to play a machine that they don't even know how to get to a game to play,
I want to go on a rant on that in a little bit.
You're striking out before you even got up to the batter's box, essentially, because it would need to have like a completely refined, in my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion, it would need to have a completely overdone, refined user interface that is so stupid. So something like Pinup Popper, Baller Installer, that type of thing, where you get this nice, just simple, go left and right, pick the table you want, hit play, you're good to go. But if you got to swipe a card and buy a Legends token and then transition your Legends token into a dollar bill, or any kind of just headaches and things that take you away from getting just to hit start and pull the plunger and get going. The more things you put in front of the customer that jump over hurdles to get them, spaced out time duration wise from playing the games, the least successful your product's going to be.
Well, and I left Mad Dad's comment up there because he's spot on. They did this to get it in the view of people to want to go and say, oh, I can now buy these. I can just go to Walmart and buy them. And you're 100% right. I want to also go.
It's great for visibility of the product.
I want to go back to what
iArcade went up did what they did. It makes sense.
What you said, Doug, earlier here, where you said about the ease of use. There is easy mode on the pinball, but it's not easy. Like, and since I got the arcade, I got
it is not public grandma
friendly
or anything like that.
I went out and bought an arcade 1-up pinball. I got it for $750. It was more than I even wanted to spend, but I bought it because I wanted Star Wars and I wanted it before I can't get it till the end of next year. One thing that they did, arcade 1-up, whether you want to knock the 720p screen like I did, you want to knock the plexiglass like I did. There's a lot of things that I'm going to, obviously there's reviews out already, but there are things that I want to touch on with this. One thing I could say is the menu system, even the people that have come into the game room and played, easy. It's right there. It goes left to right. There's you don't need these complicated press flipper up one, flipper down one, and at least there's a tracked mode. There's not even a track mode on easy mode, so you have to go into a table or you're going to burn in your
jukebox.
No, I don't want freaking jukebox. Although Walmart has some jukeboxes for $500, I did see.
I saw that.
But
no one wants a jukebox as a jukebox.
No, well, I would take a jukebox that way, not on the stupid thing. But to me, I think your average gamer. He said this in the chat room, and I apologize, I didn't get to pull it up. I didn't go back to it. He said that a track mode's garbage. It needs to be changed. It's not easy. It is not easy mode on this. Is not easy on the Legends pinball. I don't know. I was hoping they'd refine it, but it hasn't changed. So easy mode is not easy.
Maybe this new Operators Edition will have a complete, like I said, we're all just speculating at this point because we don't have enough information. All the information we have is just in that press release. So take it with a grain of salt, but these are our definite suggestions and concerns about something like that. For somebody like myself that goes into these barcades and plays pinball and arcade machines, like I know in its current form, if you just put the Atgames pinball machine in that product mix with all those other machines, it would not do well for operators. You'd really have to have a great sales pitch at this expo to get operators to bite on something like this. I know it's significantly cheaper than a commercial grade machine, but if these operators that are already running, 14 different places with barcades and they got all these pinball machines and arcade machines in their wheelhouse, so to speak, they're not going to be interested in something like this unless it is stupid simple, works like a dream, and just is going to make them money. Plain and simple. How is this going to make them money?
Speaking of stupid simple,
hey,
and I don't mean I didn't mean Glenn, and I didn't mean anything negative. But now's your chance if you haven't picked up an iArcade. Doug, talk to us a little bit about iArcade.
So everybody else is raising prices, and iArcade is slashing prices. No, this is their holiday extravaganza, but in reality, this is seasonal clearance is what it is. You got, your older arcade machines, been out for a while, out with the old, in with the new, slashing prices. So if you've waited it out, haven't bought an iArcade, been curious, been sitting on the edge saying, maybe, but it's a little too pricey, this is literally your best opportunity because those prices are, they're a nice machine. They're well built. They're sturdy.
Easy
And
menu.
there's a reason. Yeah, easy menu. There's a reason, and they're expandable. You don't have to know how to operate a Raspberry Pi or a PC or anything like that. You just literally buy it. But yeah, it's cheaper than it's ever been earlier, except for its early bird, Kickstarter campaign type of thing. So if you want to buy one, now's the time. You'll get it in time for the holidays. You'll save some money. Everybody wins.
And I'll tell you, out of all the machines out there, I still say the artwork, the quality of the vinyl that they use is the best
Nice
out of
and
everyone's
shiny.
out there.
Wait,
It's beautiful.
High gloss.
what is this crap?
Doesn't show fingerprints and scratches.
No, and the
Jukebox.
speakers,
What is
don't
this
even go there. They
crap?
got the best speakers too.
Jeez. Well, and it has one of the best games on it, Retromania. Wrestling.
Retromania. Yeah, that's right.
So you can't go wrong with that.
And they're also going to be having some game sales later on. I think it's starting 2 weeks from now. It said it's like the 16th to the 24th. Don't quote me on those dates because numbers are hard. But there will be some holiday game sales as well. So if you do have an iArcade already and you've been eyeing some games, but yet again, you're like, I don't want to spend that much money. Hold off. Just wait. Save some money because it's coming.
It's all about the money and saving the money. But maybe Atgames could learn something from iArcade and the ease of use of the menu system. And listen, we call spade a spade. That's one thing we'll do on this show. We're going to tell you what we think, whether you like it or you don't like it.
Well, I got to tell you, the
That's what we do.
iArcade, it's simple, but I still don't think it's the best looking interface. I think it's a very plain
No, but it's easy.
looking interface.
Yeah.
It's easy, but it's not.
It's not.
attractive.
It's not pretty.
No, it's not
No.
pretty at all. No, I agree with that.
Like
It-
you should
it
put my
just-
face next to each game as you go down.
That
See
would
my
be
head
a
like go
step.
down with each game.
That would be a
might
step
better.
backwards, not forwards. That we can't do that. Retro Babe, what do you think? Do you think we're off our rockers here?
You guys have always been off your rockers.
Glenn, I thought you fixed this.
That was
The
supposed to be in the
honesty
firmware
mode-
update.
The honesty mode, I haven't been able to disable. It's still running in honesty mode.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to work on that one there.
Mhm.
What else do we have on the docket here before we have to wrap up here shortly? Do I
Well,
have
next
anything
week
else?
is the moment that everybody has been impatiently waiting for, and that's Arcade 1-Up's Killer Instinct pre-order. So that'll be happening on the 10th, and people have been clamoring for that arcade cabinet release since Arcade 1-Up came out.
Now,
I'm-
it must be
I'm
me. I just don't see that. I remember that in the arcade when it was Ultra 64 hardware that they were saying it was
Yeah,
going to be the N64, and they lied. Nintendo totally lied to you people about that. But I just never thought that was a very good fighting game. It just didn't
That's it.
seem. Am I wrong?
No, I'm going to be the odd man out. Besides, I'm going to be actually with Glenn on this one. I've just never been impressed with Killer Instinct. Like when it came out, everyone kind of gravitated towards it. I was still having a great time with Street Fighter, the 30,000 versions of it, and then the Mortal Kombat franchise. So I just never gave it the time of day until my mid-20s. And at that point, I was just like, it's all right. But I still prefer Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and these other fighting games, Tekken even, over Killer Instinct. Now, the new one that Xbox made years ago, that was pretty good. But honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, that Killer Instinct cabinet, if you bought it for me and dropped it off my doorstep, I would just play Battletoads.
Just send it to me. See, I'll take Killer Instinct over Mortal Kombat, over Street Fighter any day.
Okay, well then there you go. Tell me and Glenn why you prefer Killer Instinct over the Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. Just educate me.
I like the multiple combos that you can do inside of it.
Mhm.
I thought that was always fun because you could take, if you were good at the game, you could really.
I mean, you could juggle people like a clown for sure.
You could juggle people like a clown, but there's a lot of things that you could do inside. Like I like the newer Killer Instinct. Like my son and I played it on the Legends Ultimate.
Yeah.
We played it.
It's good.
Yeah, and we put on the Ultimate Combo toggle, and so we played it. But I played it in the arcade. I didn't like it on the Nintendo 64. And I know probably some of these guys are going to go after me. I thought it was too blocky. I thought it was too slow. Killer Instinct is a fast game, in my opinion. Like when you played it in the arcade, it was fast. And if Arcade 1-Up can't duplicate that, then it's going to be tough because that was one of the things
it's not
I didn't
Arcade
like.
1-Up duplicating. It's Code Mystic.
Oh, well,
So
whoever's
far,
making
Code
the...
Mystic,
Right. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying.
Code Mystic so far has had a pretty stellar track record with all their projects they've done with Arcade 1-Up. So I don't really have any worries that this will be what the people have wanting and demanding. It'll be at a price they haven't been.
I was just gonna say it, but I'm not with it, Doug. But what is it? $700?
$750, I believe.
No way, they can keep it. I don't like it that
There
much.
might be a $700 version without the stool, but the previous ones that went up on Target was $750, just like the X-Men cabinet.
That's too much.
And they changed some of the games last minute, where you were supposed to get Battletoads and Double Dragon. Instead, you're getting double dip versions of Battletoad, which for a Battletoads fan, I'm okay with. But I know for the rest of you, probably not what you were looking to spend $750 on.
But it's not worth it.
And again, that price is getting up there. Again, it's not the same thing. You're getting close to buying a used. You can probably find a Killer Instinct used, maybe a little work for around that same amount of money. They're getting too high. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the organizations. I don't know what money that's spent for marketing and things like that. But when they first came out at $299, $349, $400, that was the market. In my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my opinion. They're now getting to the price point where I'm saying it's way too much money for what you're getting, unless you're a diehard fan, in which case people buy anything that they want. But it's almost like they're losing the core audience that they started out with, because in all honesty, it was never meant to be as big a thing as it was. Arcade 1-Up was a small tastemakers brand on the side, but it took off in a way they didn't expect, right? So those baby cades they're coming out with now was actually what the first gen machines were, which is kind of funny. The Asteroids, the Centipede, those machines were those baby cades that they're making now, bundling with two versions of Pac-Man. But now, I don't know. It's like you get to the point where it's too much money, and maybe it's okay to go for a full-size machine. I don't know. I'm finding it a weird taste in my mouth with the price point that they're coming out with. And it's not just from parts. If anything, it's marketing, it's getting into the Dolphin Stadium, it's paying Mike Tyson. That's what your money's going towards. It's not going towards improving the product. It's not going to improving that product. It's going to more marketing. My opinion. Sorry, my rant's over.
Can we talk about? I know this wasn't on the docket, but can we talk about something too? Since you're talking about price points, let's talk about this.
I remember that.
Okay, you remember this. I bought mine for $399. Let's just kind of take a gander
which is high
here.
At that point. They're crazy.
That's the new price.
At $399, they were dirt cheap, and they were the first to the market. And they were the first ones that made a digital pinball machine at a certain price point. So everyone was surprised at it, and a lot of people gravitated towards it.
$549 for this.
No way.
I mean,
toy.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's worth it or not, but that is in line with the crazy price hikes that Arcade 1-Up did with their virtual pinball machines.
I'm curious,
Doug.
$549
to $849.
Doug, what was that, Retro Vape?
Are people buying it at that price?
I really don't know. I was going to ask Doug.
Somebody out there. Surely,
what was the pinball table that you had that your wife liked, but you probably gave it away now? But there was one that you had.
Yeah, the little tabletop, well-played toys. Yeah.
No, well, it was an actual pinball table, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the one like that.
Taller. It was basically very similar to the.
Did they raise their price that you know of?
No, they sold out everything, and then they stopped making them.
Oh, well, there you go. They realized that there was no market for that.
I chatted with them. They flat out said, like, hey, we would have to raise our price, and we just think that it would be a stupid thing to try to do. So instead, we're just going to wait until things settle down, and we'll come back when the market or components or something, and they're still playing the waiting game. So instead of raising the price and offering no improvements physically to the customer,
Rainwater
which is
wants
something
to know.
I think all these companies
before you
should
read
have done.
Rainwater's thing, Steven, did you ever get your new board for yours?
I got the 1.3 board. I got it, I want to say like 6 months ago. And in the package, they said, please return your old board. Because they want to give it out they want to put it in these machines that, people unwillingly know so that I'm like, no, I paid for it. You guys jacked it up. I'm not sending it back.
So I'll send it back, $50.
I'm not doing it. You made me pay for my board. Okay, I had to pay for the board.
And what?
And you want me to send it back?
Ago, the Toy Shock was supposed to be coming out with a tabletop version.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I don't foresee them coming out with a new one until after CES. Like this whole company disgusts me because even the Toy Shock that I had, I posted a picture on Instagram. You guys can go check it out. The back box, I literally have a Fortnite package of 2 bananas in it, of Agent Peely on it. Barely weighs anything. The one day I came down, the glue gave way on the bottom of the back box, and it just fell over. And somebody was like, "Oh, I think there was some shenanigans." Literally, you guys that know me, my kids are older. The tables don't move; they sit there. So
Yeah. Well, I
a
mean,
few screws, I fixed it, but it's the point.
Toy
Like,
Shock again was also another one of those products where it got picked up by a different demographic than what it was intended to be. Like when Toy Shock came out, it was 100% solely supposed to be just a little thing for the kids. All these adult retro collector type of people like ourselves said, "Oh my God, we want a virtual pinball machine, but we don't want to spend $1,000. Maybe we make do with this." And then concessions were made, and things like that are the side effect of those type of concessions.
But-
you go in there having, premium expectations, or the expectations that what you're buying was even designed for you and your needs specifically, then you're probably going to be disappointed in the end.
And but you know what? A lot of the guys like Detroit Love. Let me see here. I'm looking for the in the chat. Mad Dads. They're all saying like it was a great table for those that wanted to mod it for $3.99. You get the glass because the bottom part was well made. And I'll even go as far as saying, even though I had an issue with the back box, the back box is better built than Atgames' back box. Atgames' back box has to be the worst made back box out of all of those pinball tables. Arcade
Too
One Up
thin of
has the
wood?
best one. I don't think they stabilized it enough inside. Doug, would you agree? It just seems too flimsy.
Yeah.
Like it could,
Well, it's held down by 4 screws, and pinball machines, if you're playing them right, you're supposed to kind of wiggle and adjust. And since they have an accelerometer and they
not
say,
made
"Hey,
well."
we've got this physical," it always feels you feel it wanting to wiggle back and forth anytime you move the machine side to side, and that just doesn't give you the good feelings for anything, because you're like, "Oh wait, am I breaking something? Am I hurting something?" So you immediately have that like reservation. Let me dial it back a little bit. That's
Right.
not really what you want to be doing.
So I guess that's my big thing when I put together the Arcade One Up, whether you like it, love it, or hate it, they made the back box right. I'm just gonna say it. Like it's solid. You can put a screen in it. It's not gonna fall apart if you blow on it or sneeze on it like some of the other ones do. I just think that if all of them would put their heads together, we'd get one killer pinball table. Just being honest.
The world would explode.
True.
Kaboom.
Good game.
No, Steven's not saying. Wait a second. Paul goes, Steven's just saying this because he did not get with the main box. No, I'm not saying that with that. I was honestly, when I got the back box, I was scared to death like a month later when I got it, that it was like broken when I picked the box up. I was like, wow, this is really light. Like from the pictures, I thought it was going to be heavier duty, to be honest. Because the bottom part of the table is very well built. Like, and I expected the top to be the same, and maybe I expected too much for the price point. I get it, but again, I'm just telling you how I really felt.
Well,
with
same
it.
thing with the Legends Ultimate. The top part where the screen is solid as a tank. The bottom is adequate. It's a little flimsy, but it's adequate. And that front panel, if you pick it up without the top on there, it's a little flimsy. But when it's all put together, it holds together pretty well. But I think Doug's right. With a pinball machine, the whole point is kind of knock it around a little bit. It should be able to handle that, not you worrying about snapping a couple bolts off on the back.
Well, and that was the worry with that. Now
and Papa Breads is right there. If you read what he has there, like all these
products we fix, what they don't do right.
That's the thing. We shouldn't have to fix the shortcomings. Modding is one thing. Fixing shortcomings is another.
Paul's like, I'm just teasing. No, anybody else that have an Arcade One Up pinball, and I just want to make sure it's not a defect with mine, because I'm looking to switch out the glass. But one of the things that I've seen with it is when you're standing up, if you don't lean way up on it, you see the lines in the plexi.
Swirls.
Well, mine are like straight lines. It looks like you could actually, if you tilt your head a little bit to the left or to the right, you don't really see them. But if you're looking dead on with it and you look kind of you have to kind of lean into the table. You don't see them as much, and I tried to combat this by tipping the back of the table up by pulling the screws all the way out and lowering the front, so it gives it a little bit more of a
throw off
slant.
the ball physics.
Well,
Ball physics will be all thrown off. You can't do that.
well, I can. It's digital. But
Oh,
anybody else see that? If you have an arcade one-up pinball table, Doug, have you seen that with yours before you swapped out to the glass?
Not on mine, but then again, mine was also like a prototype. My Star Wars one didn't have it, but I also switched it out to glass in like 4 days. So
No,
I mean,
know what your Star Wars cabinet did have? Shitty artwork on the right-hand side.
but
You'll be happy, Glenn. Mine's hidden, like you can't see it because the Toy Shock is next to it, but you can
I'm
see
very proud of you.
the Vader
See,
side
that-
is on this side, so you can
Keto
see it.
Wolf in the chat says I never noticed any lines in my plexi. So
Okay, so maybe
just,
it's a defect on
bad
mine.
batch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it could
maybe
be.
you got a bad batch. Maybe it was a later run, early run. I mean, who knows? Maybe they changed suppliers with the plexi.
You can't pick up
Mystery Encoder just said something about the plexiglass.
mystery
What do
So
you say?
one guy on YouTube said he just laid the plexi flat on the screen under the black thing to avoid that.
Oh, okay. That could
Got to
be
put it under the black thing.
somebody
Right.
else. Before we got to
The
wrap,
doohickey?
somebody else has a comment. A comment here, Mike. He said, any predictions on when Simpsons pre-orders will actually arrive? Walmart claims new release date is January 4th, 2022. I did see that. Doug?
Yeah, I mean, I said this like 4 months ago. Like, don't expect anything you're ordering to arrive by Christmas, and don't take these ETAs seriously because I know exactly what that shipping port situation looked like. Everybody that thought they were going to be able to get around the shipping ports by airmailing it, guess what? Every company had that same idea. So airmail is just as jacked up and backed up as the cargo containers. Like, a few people will get Simpsons, but it'll be a very few people. If you pre-ordered it, don't expect it until 2022.
Yep.
Literally, I don't care how early, what retailer. It's just a matter of being able to physically get that stuff off the box or off the boats onto the docks into retail, bounce it around distribution chains. It's just not going to happen.
Nope.
Plain and simple.
Nope. You need to get out there and pre-order some stuff. We got to wrap, guys, here in a little bit because we got to sign off the radio here on Basics
on the radio.
So next week, Glenn, you will not be with us. You will be working.
The place I work at, we're supposed to be virtual, right? And people are working virtual, but not my company. No, we bought like $1 million spot to make it come back to work. So next week we're moving people from building 1 to move into building 2. If that makes any sense. So we're trying to get bodies to do this, and having a very hard time finding people who want a job at the hospital for some reason. I don't know why, but hard time finding people. So I've been unceremonially volunteered for a couple of shifts, so I won't be able, unfortunately, to be here next Friday.
But Doug, maybe we can get the boys from Complete Geek TV to join you and I and have an old-fashioned slobber knocker.
It takes 2 people to fill my shoes.
What do you think?
Stunned.
You think we
yeah, I'm stunned because I'm laughing at the slobber knocker JR comment.
You got to
and
go
then
with the JR, man. Come on.
And then the 2 people to fill Glenn's shoes, of course, because it's in the contract.
Well, it's in the
right.
in the contract, right? I could have started the Jericho song if that would have made you feel better, you know.
It's true. It was fun to sing along.
I'm
Fun to sing along.
telling you, I was watching your content that you put out. If you guys didn't see it, if you're wrestling fans, you need to go watch the After Dark video. I was so glad Doug put that up because I'm like, no, you're gonna kill it. They're both in the ring and something is gonna happen and I'm not gonna get to see. And then all of a sudden,
Always does.
half an hour later,
Yep.
half an hour
You know what I
later,
missed?
he had it up.
You know what I missed?
What'd you
Doug
miss?
was there, but I didn't see this.
It's true. I didn't live up to my little animated guy in Retromania. I wasn't doing my.
But you know
I
what
was
you
so
could.
disappointed.
But Doug, you know what you could have said to one of those guys? I'm in a wrestling game, and you're not. To the wrestler.
It's true. I could have, but that's not my pretentious nature.
I know.
I
I
would've
just
said that.
I was just. I know, Glenn.
Yeah.
Glenn would have
Glenn
got
would do
thrown. He would have got thrown over the ropes, and he would have had like Luchasaurus on him or something like that.
Oh.
He would have gotten
I have-
butt handed to him.
I have a personal request from Mystery Encoder, so I will fulfill it because Mystery Encoder's done some good work in helping
Yes.
the community. So I will take one for the team. He is requesting that I say jackhole
Yeah.
before the stream is over.
Somebody
So-
said that to me this week. They said, because I was messaging them about something,
Mhm.
and they were like, "I don't know if I've ever seen your show," and I said, "Yeah, the Retro Buzz that I do with Glenn and Doug," and they're like, "Oh yeah, I did see the episode. I saw the episode where Doug said jackhole," and I was like, "That's
Of all
right,
the
he
things
did
to
do
remember.
that." I forgot totally about all that. So
That's gonna be Doug's new catchphrase. Jackhole.
Could be
ladies,
worse.
ladies and gentlemen, we gotta get out of here. We really appreciate it, Douglas Smith. You guys can check him out, Cool Toy, on YouTube, and check out all his mods and all that other good stuff that he does, as well as some looks like he had some wrestling content coming
It's
in.
all crap. Unsubscribe to Cool Toy. It's not worth it.
Yeah, no. Only do that if you don't want your kid to want to buy everything
stuff.
that Doug shows. This guy here, Glenn Planamento, if you guys are going to be there tomorrow, make sure you go check him out. Otherwise, youtube.com/GPlanamento.
You'll know where I am because I'll be going down the entire place. I'm from Glenn's Retro Show and the Tech Buzz and Retro Buzz and Cool Toy. I'll be screaming it the whole time I'm there. If they don't throw me out, you'll be able to find me.
I wouldn't do that because I don't know about Doug, but I don't want to be like associated with a crazy person,
Yeah.
especially if you're going to
Do
stalk
that.
these guys.
You're going to get us banned from things we've never even been to.
No, that's what I'm like. No,
I'm
I'm
going to
just
come
kidding.
with free Glenn's Retro Show sandwich bags from ShopRite.
Yeah, you guys need to go out there and figure out what happened to Glenn's branded sandwich bags for his stuff so he can get his basement back together because somebody posted that. I don't remember what happened. Anyways, we got to get out of here, guys. We'll see you next Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, guys, keep it buzzing. Buzz, buzz.